You're tuning in to the deep dive because you're looking to understand the world a little better, a little faster. Forget endless scrolling. We take the dense stuff and pull out the pieces that really matter. Today, we're diving headfirst into a new report all about the global market for flexographic printing inks.
Exactly. Now, you might be thinking, printing inks, how exciting can that be? But think about it. Almost everything you touch, especially when it comes to packaging, has likely been touched by flexographic printing. That vibrant logo on your snack bag, the clear information on your medicine box. Yeah, Flexo inks are kind of the unsung heroes of the consumer world.
Okay, so our mission today is to cut through the jargon, and give you the essential understanding of this market. What's driving it, where is it growing, and what are the surprising bits we should all know? To kick things off, this report pegs the global market size for flexographic printing inks in 2025 at a hefty USD 12,645 million. That's a serious chunk of change.
It really is. And the trajectory is even more compelling, actually. By 2033, the market is projected to reach USD 20,927.4 million. That's growing at a compound annual growth rate, or CAGR, of 6.50% from 2025. So this isn't just a big market, it's a market with some serious momentum.
Let's unpack that growth a little. USD 12.6 billion now, heading towards nearly USD 21 billion in less than a decade. What's the main engine behind this expansion?
Uh, the report points very clearly to the packaging sector as the primary growth driver.
Yeah.
Just think about the sheer volume of packaging needed. As e-commerce continues its relentless rise and the production of everyday consumer goods expands globally, flexographic printing offers a cost-effective and versatile solution for a huge range of packaging needs.
Packaging, yeah. It's something we can all visualize. From the grocery store to our doorsteps, it's everywhere.
Okay, now let's break this global picture down by region. Where's the most market activity happening right now? Currently, North America holds the lion's share, accounting for over 40% of the global market. Their market size in 2025 is estimated at USD 3,414.15 million, and that's with a projected CAGR of 5.4% between 2025 and 2033.
So North America is the current leader. What's keeping them at the forefront?
Well, several factors are at play. The report highlights that stricter environmental regulations in North America are pushing the adoption of more environmentally friendly ink options. That's big. Plus, the robust growth in packaging across various sectors, especially flexible packaging for things like food, beverages, and pharmaceuticals, is a major contributor. And like we touched on, the e-commerce boom is fueling demand for corrugated packaging. Finally, advancements in ink technology, particularly water-based and UV curable inks, are also significant drivers.
Right. Within North America, are there any countries that really stand out in this market?
Absolutely. The United States is the dominant player, no question. Projected market size of USD 2,693.76 million in 2025 and a CAGR of 5.2%. The report specifically mentions technological innovation as a key factor driving growth there. Canada, with a market size of USD 409.70 million in 2025 and actually a higher CGR of 6.2%, is seeing increased demand for variable data printing.
Variable data printing, like barcodes and QR codes.
Exactly. Think about those unique codes you see on packaging. That's a growing area. And Mexico's market is also noteworthy, estimated at USD 310.69 million in 2025, with a CAGR of 5.9%.
That focus on variable data printing in Canada is an interesting angle. It suggests a move towards more personalized or, trackable packaging. Okay, let's cross the Atlantic to Europe. What does the landscape look like there?
Europe is a strong second in terms of market share, holding over 30% of the global revenue. Their market size is estimated at USD 3,161.25 million in 2025, with a projected CGR of 5.7% from 2025 to 2033.
Still a very significant market then. Are there any particular countries in Europe that are key players?
Definitely. The UK market is substantial, estimated at USD 531.09 million in 2025, with a healthy CAGR of 6.5%. That's driven largely by the demand for corrugated packaging. Think of all those online deliveries. Germany follows closely with a market size of USD 625.93 million in 2025 and a CAGR of 5.9%, with advanced printing technologies playing a big role there. France, Italy, Russia, and Spain also represent significant markets. And it's worth noting that even smaller markets like Sweden, Denmark, Switzerland, and Luxembourg are showing solid growth.
It sounds like a really diverse market across Europe. What are the main forces shaping the flexographic ink market there?
Similar to North America, the increasing demand for sustainable and water-based inks is a major factor. That's driven in large part by regulations within the European Union. The continued growth in packaging for the food and beverage industries, as well as the surge in e-commerce packaging, is also significant. We're also seeing advancements in UV-cured and even solvent-based inks, which are valued for their durability and high-quality finish, particularly in sectors like pharmaceuticals and cosmetics, where appearance and resilience really matter. And the overall trend towards more flexible and corrugated printing methods is contributing to the demand for these inks too.
Sustainability keeps popping up. It's clearly a major influence, isn't it? Now, let's move to the region with the highest anticipated growth rate, Asia Pacific, or APAC. What's the story unfolding there?
APAC is indeed the powerhouse for future growth in this market, currently holding around 23% of the global share, with a market size of USD 4,501.62 million in 2025, and a really impressive CAGR of 7.7% projected from 2025 to 2033. That's a significant acceleration.
Wow, 7.7% is hard to ignore. Which countries are leading this rapid expansion in APAC?
Well, China's dominant force, with a market size of USD 1,890.68 million in 2025 and a CAGR of 7.2%. That's fueled by their massive and still growing e-commerce and logistics sectors. Japan, South Korea, and India are also key players. India in particular stands out with a staggering 9.6% CAGR. That's the highest national growth rate mentioned in the report.
9.6%, that's huge for India.
It is. And we're also seeing significant activity and growth in Australia, Singapore, Taiwan, Southeast Asia as a whole, and the rest of the APAC region.
Okay, so India's 9.6% CAGR is really striking. What's driving such intense growth across APAC?
It's a confluence of factors, really. The report emphasizes a rapidly expanding packaging industry across various sectors: food and beverage, pharmaceuticals, and of course e-commerce. There's a growing demand for more eco-friendly and water-based inks, although the drivers might be more consumer preference and maybe less strict regulation compared to Europe. The rapid adoption of flexible packaging and labeling, especially in emerging economies within APAC, is a major factor. We're also seeing advancements in all types of inks, including UV-cured and solvent-based, and the underlying trends of increasing urbanization, rising disposable incomes, and a booming retail sector all contribute to this dynamic growth.
It definitely sounds like APAC is the region to watch in this market. What about South America? How does it fit into the global picture?
South America accounts for over 5% of the global market share. Market size is about USD 569.03 million in 2025. And they have a projected CAGR of 6.5% from 2025 to 2033, which is also a very respectable growth rate.
Okay, 6.5%. Which countries should we be paying attention to in South America?
Brazil is the largest market there, a size of USD 243.54 million in 2025, and a CAGR of 7.1%. That's driven in part by the need for durable inks suitable for their climate and distribution networks. Argentina's got a CAGR of 7.4%, fueled by rising disposable incomes. Colombia, Peru, and Chile are also notable markets, along with the collective rest of South America category.
And what's fueling this growth in South America? Similar story.
Pretty much, yeah. The increasing demand for packaged goods, particularly in the food and beverage sectors as the middle class expands, that's a primary driver. Plus the growing adoption of e-commerce. There's also increasing government interest in promoting more eco-friendly inks, advancements in high-speed printing technologies that improve efficiency, and an overall expansion of the retail sector.
Okay, makes sense. Let's shift our focus to the Middle East. What's the situation looking like there?
The Middle East holds around 2% of the global market share, market size of USD 531.09 million in 2025. But they have a strong CAGR of 7.1% from 2025 to 2033. So while it's a smaller share currently, it's showing significant growth potential.
Interesting. Are there any particular countries leading the way in the Middle East?
Saudi Arabia, with a market size of USD 186.94 million, and a CAGR of 7.4%, is a key market. The UAE stands out with the highest regional CAGR at 8.7% and a market size of USD 109.40 million. Turkey, Qatar, Egypt, and the rest of the Middle East also contribute to this growing market.
And the drivers for growth in the Middle East? More packaging demand.
Yes, similar to other developing regions, increasing demand for packaged goods across various sectors, the rise of e-commerce, and the adoption of more flexible packaging formats are important. We're also seeing government initiatives aimed at promoting more sustainable ink options, a gradual shift towards water-based and UV-curable inks, along with general technological advancements in the printing sector and a growing retail landscape.
Finally, let's turn our attention to Africa. What's the market like there?
Africa currently represents around 1% of the global market share. Market size is about USD 467.86 million in 2025, and has a projected CAGR of 6.9% from 2025 to 2033. So it's the smallest market share currently, but still with solid growth potential.
And which countries are most significant in the African market?
South Africa leads, with a market size of USD 164.69 million and the highest regional second GR of 7.8%. That's quite strong. Nigeria, with a market size of USD 37.43 million and a CAGR of 7.1%, is also notable. The report mentions demand for more heavy-duty packaging as a factor there. The rest of Africa collectively represents a significant portion of the market as well.
And what's driving growth across Africa? I'm guessing flexible packaging again?
You got it. The increasing demand for flexible packaging, particularly for food, beverage, and pharmaceutical products, is a major driver. Alongside that, the growing, albeit still developing, e-commerce industry. Environmental considerations are also leading to a preference for water-based and UV-curable inks in some areas. The expansion of local printing and packaging industries and increasing investment in flexographic printing technology are also contributing to this growth.
So, okay, we've got a really diverse global picture. North America and Europe holding the largest shares currently, but APAC clearly leading the pack in terms of future growth. Now, the report also delves into market segmentation. By the type of ink used, the resin that forms its base, and the application, what are some of the key takeaways in these areas?
Yeah, this is where we get into the real nitty-gritty of the technology.
Yeah.
Looking at ink types, UV-cured inks are projected to be the dominant force in the market. And it's not just about speed anymore. Advancements in UV-curable formulations are allowing for more intricate designs and higher durability. That's increasingly important for premium packaging that needs to grab attention on both physical and, digital shelves. However, it's fascinating to note that solvent-based inks are identified as the fastest-growing segment.
Really, despite the environmental focus.
Yet it likely reflects their superior adhesion and versatility on non-porous materials like plastics and films, where durability and quality are paramount. Even if environmental concerns are a consideration, sometimes performance wins out for specific applications. Of course, water-based inks remain a critical segment, driven by that ever-increasing demand for more eco-friendly packaging solutions.
So it's a bit of a balancing act between performance, environmental impact, and the specific needs of different packaging materials. What about the resins that form the backbone of these inks?
Right, so currently, polyurethane-based resins hold the largest market share. This is largely due to the demand for durable and high-quality prints on flexible packaging. Polyurethane offers excellent adhesion, resistance to scratching, and flexibility, which aligns perfectly with the trends we're seeing in packaging. However, the acrylic resin segment is expanding rapidly. Acrylics are favored for their more environmentally friendly profile, good performance characteristics, vibrant color capabilities, faster drying times, and lower VOC volatile organic compound emissions, all of which are increasingly important.
It sounds like both polyurethane and acrylic resins are catering to significant and perhaps slightly different demands within the packaging world. Okay, finally, how does the market break down in terms of where these inks are actually being used, application-wise?
Unsurprisingly, the packaging sector accounts for the vast majority of flexographic ink consumption. It's just due to the enormous volumes of packaging required for everything from food and pharmaceuticals to consumer goods. There's a constant demand for innovative, eye-catching, and often sustainable printing on labels in the packaging itself, including that variable data like barcodes and QR codes for tracking and information. What's really interesting, though, is the rapid growth in the others application category.
Others, what falls under that?
Well, it reflects the increasing demand for more sustainable printing solutions in various other industries, with water-based and UV inks gaining traction due to their lower environmental impact. It also reflects the rise of e-commerce and the associated need for customized and informative packaging, often incorporating variable data even beyond traditional retail packaging.
Okay, so packaging is dominant, but other areas focused on sustainability and customization are definitely on the rise. The report also highlights some of the key market drivers and restraints. What's pushing this market forward overall?
The report points to a few key factors. Firstly, the growing preference among consumers for more environmentally friendly packaging. That's a huge driver, pushing manufacturers to seek more sustainable printing options. Secondly, there's a rising demand for high-quality prints, better resolution, more vibrant colors to make products stand out on the shelf. And finally, the increasing use of variable data printing for things like barcodes, QR codes, and even personalized marketing messages on packaging is contributing to the demand for advanced flexographic printing capabilities.
Makes perfect sense. On the flip side, what are some of the challenges or restraints that the market is facing?
Two main restraints are identified. The first is the volatility of the prices of raw materials used to produce these inks. That can really impact manufacturing costs and ultimately the price of the inks themselves. The second is the relatively high initial investment required to purchase and set up flexographic printing equipment. That can be a barrier to entry, especially for smaller businesses.
Right, that capital investment. And what about broader market trends that are influencing this industry?
The report highlights the rapid growth of the retail and consumer goods sectors in developing economies as a major trend. As these economies grow, so does the demand for packaged products, which directly increases the need for printing inks. Additionally, the increasing stringency of environmental regulations around the world is really promoting the development and adoption of bio-based and other more sustainable ink technologies.
Okay. Finally, the report gives us a snapshot of the competitive landscape. Who are the major players battling it out in the flexographic printing ink market?
It's a fairly competitive market, yeah. A mix of large global companies and smaller regional players. Some of the key companies mentioned in the report include Siegwerk, Toyo Ink, Altana, Wyckoff Color, and INX International Ink. These companies are constantly innovating and competing on factors like product performance, cost effectiveness, and their distribution networks.
And there was a specific recent development mentioned in the report, wasn't there? Something about an expansion.
Yes, that's right. The report noted that in December 2024, Flint Group announced an expansion of their manufacturing capabilities in India. This new facility is specifically focused on producing water-based inks and coatings for the paper and packaging industries. It's a great example, really, of a major player investing heavily in sustainable ink technologies, specifically in a high-growth market like India. It just underscores the trends we've been discussing.
That's a really concrete illustration of the market in action. Okay, so to wrap it up then, this deep dive into the global flexographic printing inks market reveals a substantial and definitely growing industry. It's heavily influenced by the ever-evolving demands of the packaging sector and a clear movement towards more sustainable printing solutions. We're seeing significant regional variations in growth and market share, and the types of inks and resins used are constantly adapting to meet both performance and environmental requirements.
Precisely. The interplay between the need for effective and visually appealing packaging, the increasing global focus on sustainability, and that rapid growth in key regions like APAC makes this a really dynamic and, frankly, interesting market to observe.
So here's a final thought for you, our listeners, to chew on. Given the strong growth we're seeing in the Asia-Pacific region and that undeniable global push towards more sustainable ink technologies, what cutting-edge innovations or maybe significant shifts in material science might we anticipate in the coming years? What could further revolutionize or reshape this already evolving industry? It's definitely something to think about. Thanks for joining us for this deep dive.